Well, welcome back everyone for another Planet Zoo speed build. My name is Leaf and it's always so great to have you guys here. So today I really wanted to keep on track with, the last thing we did with like the Conservation Breeding Center from Zoo Tycoon 2. I really wanted to make the Aviary from Zoo Tycoon 1. In case if you guys don't know, I am a huge Zoo Tycoon 1 fan. I know it's not really everyone's favorite. I personally love it so much more than Zoo Tycoon 2. Don't really know why. I have a whole video on that if in case you guys want to read that, but I just really wanted to make this build. I always felt so nostalgic for like the style of these buildings. They seem very basic, seem very clean, and I really wanted to recreate it. So you can see me going through the basics over here, just getting the general shape of the building all set. In fact, what I wanted to do, I wanted to keep it set within a specific blueprint so you guys could actually use this in your own parks. The blueprint is in the description down below in case if you guys want to use it in your very own parks. But essentially what I'm doing over here, I'm just getting that general wall all set. It's not exactly a one-to-one recreation. I tried my best to incorporate as much as possible, but there were just some parts that I was like, yeah, maybe we don't really need that in here. So we essentially got like the whole shell of the aviary done, and I'm very happy about that. And what we actually do over here as well, we kind of do our own little thing with the aviary back there. So essentially what I'm doing, I'm just getting that general outline all set, making sure that all those pieces fit nice and snug inside of over there. And essentially we get to work on, essentially setting up the rest of the build. So I noticed that on the side of this build, there was this little bit of a secondary aviary. Essentially you would probably keep like, a little bit more predatory birds in there, I would assume. Maybe they would have something along the lines of, say, for example, an owl. Maybe they would have something else kind of like that. Essentially, like, that's what we're trying to keep safe over there from the rest of the birds. So I'd be free flying inside the aviary. In the end, I actually do put some peafowls in here, and they look pretty damn good in there, so I was very happy about that. And what I also do, I really wanted to do like a nice curve roof, but I felt like it wouldn't be way too complicated to do that. So we actually do something a little bit funky. We use some mud pillar technique to get ourselves a perfect circle. In case if you guys don't know, the mud circle technique, I guess, it essentially allows you to get this like it essentially allows you to make perfect circles. And it's just a really awesome trick that you guys, I highly recommend you guys start playing around with that as soon as possible, because people often ask me, how are you so good at building? Number one, I'm really not, but number two, it's essentially just using small little tricks like that. Another trick that I also do is trying to get these pieces all centered in the middle of each other so that it's all equidistant between each other. It's not exactly perfect, but I did essentially just want to make sure that was all able to work in there. And I use those little pieces. I select all of the group that I want to be in between. I hit X and then I put a piece in between there so I know where the true center of those pieces would be. What I also do over here is just work on the main frame of the aviary. I tried my best to recreate it as best as possible. I do take some creative liberties every so often, and I think it does end up making a better product in the end, because it's a bit of an older building. It's obviously like an old school kind of style of aviary. Definitely like something you would see back in like, the early 1900s up until like the mid 1900s. So that's something I really wanted to kind of emphasize over there. But what we also do is we also get those cross beams, yeah, we got those all set as well, just to make sure it's a little bit more stable, a little bit more set in stone, if that makes any sense at all. Don't know what happened right over there. I was probably just like, trying to think about how awful this was going to be, but it actually was not the worst. It was actually a really fun build in the end, and I had a lot of fun trying to make everything work in here. It was really rewarding as well, and I felt like, it was just really fun, and you guys get to use it. By the way, did I mention the blueprint is in the description down below? But yeah, let's get back to Zoo Tycoon 1. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it. Let me know what you guys have like with your favorite memories of Zoo Tycoon 1. I don't care about Zoo Tycoon 2 in this video. I care about the first one. I care about the OG one. I care about the one where they get pissed if you have one tile of grass way too much. I care about all that jazz. That's my favorite part of that game. But I don't know. It was always my favorite growing up. You know, I always loved Zoo Tycoon 2, but Zoo Tycoon 1 just had this very, very charming appeal to it. Very much like how people still love Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 nowadays, even more so than Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, just because it feels so much more cozy, it's so much more dynamic, the controls are just so much more tighter. That's how I feel about Zoo Tycoon 1. I don't know, it's just so nice and chill, and especially with these birdhouses, like, especially with like the animal houses in particular, like they also had the primate house and whatnot, but essentially what it was just a way for you to get smaller species in your zoo without having full-fledged habitat animals. This is essentially how the exhibit system in Planet Zoo should have been, but essentially what they kind of messed up with was, you know, the whole exhibit system to begin with. Oh, you guys know how I feel about that. But it was just a really good thing to have, especially in an isometric game where you can't really do that kind of fine detailing. And it just gives a little bit more story building to your zoos and whatnot as well. I hate meshwork, I just want to say that right out the gate. You guys can see me start to struggle with this at this point, because trying to get this to match up perfectly with all of these beams up there really wasn't fun. It really was not fun at all, but we get it all to work out in the end. It all looks pretty nice. I do skip out on a few places over there. Hypothetically, they could fly out, but luckily enough, we don't get any birds just yet, okay? Maybe we can get some in the next DLC. Still not even sure if this is going to be out by the time we do hear word on that, but hey, who the hell knows? Going through the rest of here and just making sure that everything else matches up nicely before we move on to the windows and smaller detailings. Another thing that I hated about this build are the roofs. I love Zoo Tycoon 1 so much. I hate their roofs. I hate their roofs specifically in terms of recreation. It is awful to work on, but I essentially kind of make my way through this. I have it look pretty good in the end. I'm pretty happy with it. Hope you guys are pretty happy with blueprinting as well. And I also work on that small little subsection of the aviary right there. I think it looks pretty good. Nothing too crazy. It's just a little bit of a lean-to kind of thing. Nothing really insane. I don't really decorate inside that. I left that open for you all to decorate, all you lovely little people at home. But yeah, that's literally it, and we just kind of make it a little bit more clean with some nice plaster pieces, and yeah, that's basically it. I don't know, I was just very happy with that small little part right there. I hope you guys use these in like all your zoos, because it was a really fun thing to make. It was just really exciting. I don't know, I hope you guys enjoyed these little recreations from Zoo Tycoon, because it's just really fun bringing that kind of style into the modern day. And I don't know, it's just really, really fun. And we also use some corrugated roof on top. You could probably imagine that this is just like a secondary edition, like a few years after the original aviary was built. Let's just say, like, you know, they got a pair of owls, kind of like ZSUing it, isn't that right? By the way, ZSU hopefully will be back soon. I'm gonna see if I could record an episode today. Not really sure if I have anything really to build for, or if I really have any inspiration to make the big change to ZSU that I really want to make. I really just want to refactor the entrance, or at least make a new entrance, but we'll get to that when we actually do get to that. I'm too scared to actually start on it. But also over here, I'm making the roof. Please just end me right now, because roofs are awful to make, especially custom roofs with like these weird dynamic shapes. Essentially, it should be shingled, but I do kind of opt for like wooden planks and stuff. I feel like it looks a lot better anyways. It just feels so much more clean. And I am not Haribo. I am not Haribo in the slightest. I can't do custom roofs. I'm not Silverette, by the way. Misty Silverette, please come back. But it was just really fun in the end, just to, you know, do something kind of different. And we kind of do our own little spin with the roofs as well, just to make sure it feels a lot more clean within, like, you know, the scope of the build. I don't know, I'm very happy with it all. It was really fun to put together. But yeah, roofs are my biggest downfall. If you want to break Leaf, tell him to build a custom roof. That is the #1 way to ruin him. But essentially just going through here, what I do, as you guys can probably see, is just going through here and building one section of this. Again, this is a little trick with the mud pillar. It's easily the most useful piece because you have to do stuff like this. Essentially what I do, I make it on one side first, I make it on the other side, and I take that whole piece right there and I duplicate it on the other 3 sides. Going through here, I'm trying to see what else I'm doing, but like it's just more roof work. I'm sorry guys. I hate roof work so much, but I kind of just cover that up right there, make sure it feels a lot more, you know, I don't know, clean, and it just looks pretty good in the end. I kind of like how it bumps up. I think that's pretty neat right there. The interior I did not do. That is all for you guys to work on yourselves. Totally not because I'm just lazy, but because I want you guys to experiment. If you guys do end up downloading this blueprint, tag me on Twitter, tag me on Instagram. Let me see what you guys are making with these, because I don't know, I'm very excited to see this, and this is what I'm most ashamed of. So in case if you guys don't know, there's this big old like bird statue on top of, you know, the entire build, and I had to recreate it, and I kind of took some cheap shots at it. So I have this little bit of an artistic representation of the bird, and I give it these beady ass eyes. I don't know, I thought that was pretty funny in the end. But essentially what we're left with, we have this big old bird. You can see me really struggling with the pieces. It's supposed to be metal. I honestly could have just put a penguin up there now that I'm thinking about it, but it's kind of funny in the end. I think it gives it its own charm. Let me know what you guys have to think about that, because I think he's a very dapper fellow. Moving through here, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of pieces to use, but I think I settle on like the stone pieces as a way to make like custom wings. But I essentially get there after a little bit of gardening. I needed to take my mind off of that, so I add the bramble bushes. I add some of those gum trees just because they kind of fit the vibe. And yeah, I just kind of decorate all over the rest of the exhibit. And I do kind of frame it with a little bit of a pathway. I do change it to our aquatic path mod though, because it's so much brighter. I love that one so much more. But yeah, no mods in here, by the way. Did not want to use any mods for this build. It was very challenging to do that, because there could have been a lot of awesome, useful pieces that I could have used. But it's totally fine. It was really nice to have a little bit of a challenge nowadays. So just going through this all and making sure that we add all the tiny details. There was a little bit of like a ventilation shaft right there, so I added that right there. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the majority of that. I essentially just hop in here and add a layer of mulch, and we also do some pathing in there. Nothing that the guests can actually use. Oh yeah, I also frame up like the rest of the build as well, just a way to I don't know, kind of center it a little bit more, make it feel a little bit more like it's supposed to be there, and give it a little bit more structure and fidelity, because I gotta make sure that this whole thing doesn't come crumbling down. And we essentially just match that up on all 4, 6, 8 sides. I think that's an octagon. That's gotta be an octagon. But essentially what we do after that, we get started on some nice foliage inside. I felt like it was missing something, and I was like, okay, I wanted to leave this empty for all you guys to like make your own things in, but essentially I was like, no, like this video needs some more fun in it. It needs some animals, and I wanted to get some peafowls in there, so I wanted to decorate the interior of here. Nothing too crazy. I really just wanted to have like a nice centerpiece of a fountain. Really wanted to have that kind of be like a little bit of a bump up, so that, like, you know, it just looks like it's supposed to be there. And I also do some foliage work all around, adding some like tiny plants, some tiny flowers, just as a way to make it feel a lot more bright and vibrant. So I add the azalea bushes. Those are always some of my favorites. I add a few of those rosewood bushes, add some of the twin flowers, Dutchman beeches, and I also have this beautiful big London plane tree right in the right in the middle of the habitat, because it's a nice centerpiece. I really love how that looks. And essentially what we go on through here, we also add some more flowers, we add the periwinkle grass, and like that we are pretty much all set, and we are moving on to the B-roll in just a few seconds. But I do want to thank you guys so much for stopping by. You guys are always such wonderful people in the comments down below, so let me know what you guys have to say. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're going to use this build because I think it's pretty swell. But all that being said, I do want to thank you guys for stopping by. In case if you guys are new here, I always love new people, and we're so close to 6,000 subscribers. So if you do hit that little red button down below, it'll make me the happiest little leaf in the world. But all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye-bye now.